Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine. It's time for our sketch with me using the Painted Garden collection, which is just such a beautiful collection. When I was looking for a sketch to do with our Cue the Blue collection, I found that sketch from April 2019. And lo and behold, I wound up finding a second sketch that I thought would just be perfect for the Painted Garden collection, also in that April 2019 virtual crop. This is sketch number 9, and it will be linked in the description box below this video if you would like to go and grab the sketch and check and see, the sample that is on the blog as well. But here comes my interpretation, and then we're also going to be putting together a card as well. So let's get to it. Here it is. Are you ready for this? I just thought, this collection has so many pretty colors in it. Let's pick a slightly busier sketch. So I went ahead and pulled out this one from the April 2019 virtual crop sketch number 9. And as you can see, we're going to be doing a bunch of little strips along the sides. And then, well, if y'all have seen any of my other videos, I like to put more photos on the page and have some room for journaling. So I pulled out 6 4.5 by 6.5 mats and 2 4 by 6 mats. So you'll see the placement for those coming up. And I didn't really do so much with all these banners. We see the banners a lot. And I just thought, let's give you all another idea. I'm a chef, and for me, sketches are kind of like recipes. They're guides. They don't have to be done the way they are. You could open to interpretation, and that is what we are going to do today. We are going to interpret, and we're going to kind of keep the essence of the sketch, but kind of do our own thing as well. Or I'm going to do my own thing, and if you choose to do your own interpretation of it as well, that is fantastic. So I cut 2 1/2-inch by 12-inch strips from 5 sheets of paper. And then I turned them and I cut 2.5-inch strips from those 1/2-inch pieces. So here are our papers. We are going to do the pink brush stroke that has the geometric grid on the back of it as one of our sheets. And we'll use the side up I'm showing you first, the green brush stroke. That has the green geometric grid on the back, the orange brush stroke, another geometric grid on the back of that one. And then this, I believe, was like a brushed fabric page. So you can kind of get the idea. I'm going to try to hold it a little closer. There you go. So the light will pick up. It's a very subtle yellow pattern, and it has the tan crosses on the back. There we go. And the green, again, with kind of the woven fabric look on the front, and then the green mustard crosses on the back. But we're going to use the front side of these pages because I just thought they all blended so well, and they're going to look so pretty together for our strips going along the side. So I'm hoping I've cut enough. That's something we're going to find out because, like I said, I just took 2 strips from each of the 5 papers. So essentially, I took 1 inch off of each of these papers. And then I may have to put these aside for our next virtual crop so I can give you all some more ideas of how to use some of the scraps from this, because you could use it as a base page for something else and kind of have it on a sheet of cardstock. But I feel like that's going to use an entire sheet of cardstock just to get that inch on either side is a lot too. You know me, I like to use up the scraps. So we will get there with that. And so I went ahead and I labeled my little, I grabbed out a couple little baggies. I put all my 2.5-inch strips in one, and I put all my 2-inch remainder pieces in a second bag because I thought, you know, we probably will be cutting some off the top and the bottom, and why not use some of these other smaller scraps for the top and the bottom. So I'm going to create one little pile up here for those and one pile for my larger pieces here. And then we're going to start creating this design here. I've pulled out my parchment board. Okay, so we are going to, let's divide things up so we have an even amount for both pages. I guess we're going to have 3 of each color on each side, and then I'll tackle one side first and then the other side. That's pink. Hang on, this is the, oh boy. Okay. So this is pink. That looks like that's not that one. Maybe I shouldn't have mixed them up so much. All right, so I've sorted through all of my pieces. Remember that we took strips from 5 colors, so I have 5 stacks of my 2.5-inch pieces, all at a 1/2 inch. I'm going to go ahead and set one over to the side. We're going to focus on doing this one first. So this is the left side of our page. I have pulled in my parchment board. If you haven't seen my parchment board, it's a sturdy piece of cardboard with electrical tape holding on the parchment. And since we're not baking with it, it doesn't really matter. But electrical tape is one of the few things that will stick to parchment. And it just makes a really great nonstick surface to work on. So here we go. We are supposed to have 1, 2, 3. It looks like they have 6 rows on the sketch, but we may not wind up with that many. So here's the sketch again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I don't know if I want to go that far in on my page. So let's see what we get first. And then I'll figure out if I actually do need to cut more strips. I'm thinking probably not, but we'll kind of figure it out here. I'm just trying to get 2 of each color kind of sorted on here so that way we can just go ahead and go through with our repositionable tape quickly and get everything taped up, ready to stick down, and then figure out where we're going to put it on this page. Repositionable. And then I also did sort my 2-inch strips up above with that. We just had 5 2-inch strips. So that must have been what was the leftover from cutting these other pieces. And we might wind up using those for our card. We might wind up using them for the page. Like I said, I'm not quite sure yet. This is my first time trying this as well. So it's always an experiment. It's fun. Maybe I have a strange sense of fun, but it is fun. Oops. Until one of them gets stuck where they're not supposed to. Okay, last 2. There we go. So now let's go ahead and start with maybe the yellow in the middle here. And it does kind of look like the strips are offset. So I'm going to grab my 0 centering ruler here. This is 2 videos in a row. I'm actually going to use it. I want this to really kind of be off. So this is our, I'm going to mark it at the 1 inch, which is right here, just to give me a starting point. So that way it's off center because we do have a 2.5-inch strip. So if I line up the bottom edge at the 1 inch, which is 5 inches up, which makes sense because obviously our 0 is in the center, which is at the 6-inch mark. So you're going to come up to the 5-inch mark if you're using your 13-inch cutting mat or some other product. And then we're going to leave somewhere between 1/4 inch in between. So now that I've grabbed a yellow, I need to make sure, yep, that was the yellow. And somehow my other, oh, because I started up here. I probably should have put these kind of together. Well, that's okay. Let's just do it this way. I am going to go with this one next. And yeah, it's about, I'll measure it for you. Don't worry. I'm actually going to go a little bit closer, about 1/4 inch, I think is what we're going to do here. And then we'll take the green and do another 1/4 inch here. I know it's easier to see it on the white, so let me move this over. Okay. And like I said, you can continue to work on your mat. Yeah, that's exactly 1/4 inch in between here and in between there. So let's go ahead and get a couple more strips down. What haven't I used? This one. And maybe I should have switched those two, but that's okay. It's still going to be kind of random. We'll go switch it up for the next row. So let's kind of wind up using one of each. So we're probably going to wind up with maybe 3 rows of each. We'll find out. And then if we do wind up, once we offset the next one, I'll figure out if I need to keep these little extra bits or not. We might not, but like I said, it might wind up on a card. So let's see what happens. Let's go with pink in the middle this time. So we're going to go ahead and draw this up here. It's about another 1/4 inch apart. And then I'm just offsetting it a bit from where we are here. So it almost kind of gives it a stained glass effect overall. And you kind of want to make it somewhat random. And I think I'm just going to leave this blank up here because that's about 1/4 inch also. Coming down, I don't want to put the yellow in the middle again. So I guess I'm going to do green on both sides of this pink. And there we go. Then the yellow. And the pink. Wow, it is just striking. I don't know, this collection just, they really did a wonderful job of making it just so pretty. Okay, so now let's go. We know we're probably going to want a pink here. So let's do this. This is like the pinky and orangey. So we're going to go do this here. And we know we're going to want maybe the yellow up here. So let's do that. Up here. Well, I guess I need to put something in between so that way I know I'm getting my yellow strip in the right space. So we're going to go with, I guess, a green here. Is that the same green? That's the other green. Okay, good. And yes, I kind of did. I don't know if I looked to see which one had what on the back, or maybe just showing you all helped me remember which color is where on the back side of these, because I do still have my strips turned over. Okay, so this one winds up really close to the edge also, so we're not going to add it. Well, maybe it's okay. It is just close to the edge. All right, so we're going to have 4 rows from what it looks like we're going to do here instead of the 6, and I am perfectly okay with that. It is up to you as to whether or not you want to cut more strips, if you're not okay with that, or however you want to do yours. Like I said, that's up to you. And dark pink here now. I'm just kind of creating a random pattern. So you can see where I did start with the yellow here, but you can definitely see it's in the different places, and then it's making it look random, which That's kind of what I was shooting for, is to have it be random. Now, if you want to make yours a little bit more intentional, you can. But create whatever pattern you want. Pick whatever pages you want. And if you're using this collection, I don't think you can go wrong pretty much with almost any of these papers. They're all just so pretty and striking. So let me cut these off. We're going to flip over our page. And where do I want to put these so that way we have access to them for our card? Maybe I will grab an envelope. Give me just a moment here. Okay, I'm just going to grab one of our envelopes from our blank card kits here, so that way I can just stick these on and know that this is from the left side of the page here. I'm just going to go ahead and use the repositionable tape to hold them on. Oops. That one may or may not stick. It was so small, I might not have gotten quite that end exactly. But as you can see, I'm just cutting right along the seam of the back of the cardstock here. Okay, there we go. So that was from the left side of our page. I will just put that aside for right now. And we're going to go ahead and do the right side as well, I think, while I'm in paper strip mode here. So let me pull over the right side of the page. And this one we're going to layer on this right side. Go figure. That's kind of what the sketch was suggesting. So that's what we are going to do. Oh, you know what? I think I did forget to tell you, though. I am using navy cardstock, not black. It's navy. It's definitely helping it to pop. And I really think it's working out nicely with this collection. But no, it's not black. It's actually navy. Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. But that's okay. It gave me something to talk to you about now. And of course, if you all ever have any questions about what I've done, or if I forget to tell you about something, feel free to drop a comment and ask. I do answer all the comments on my channel, so I am happy to help out. Here we go. Another round of repo. And actually, you know, this actually is pretty easy to remember what's on the back side of most of these, because the greens did have greens on the back of it. The pinks did have the pink and the orange on the back of it. And then the yellow had the white on the back of it. So it's, I mean, I did kind of remember, but it is actually, now that I'm thinking about it, pretty easy to remember what was on the back of what. Okay, so let me pull out my ruler again. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and just start by putting a strip at that 1-inch point again. And I will probably start maybe with the pink this time. Let's mix it up a little bit. This way it really is a little bit more random. And we'll just go ahead and see how it looks when it's done. I don't think it's possible to mess this up. If you do want to do a repeating pattern, you can. That's definitely something you can do, but you'll have to remember that this one is staying this direction. So the left side is definitely going to stay this way. whereas the right side is going to flip. So if you decide to do the repeating pattern, you'll have to make sure that you turn your paper so you make sure you know you have your strips in the right place. I think that's almost too much headspace for me to worry about. I guess if you're great at math, it's maybe it isn't too much headspace, but for me, it is. So you can see how you want to do yours. I guess I did wind up, well, they're kind of, and look at that, it wound up about the same. So you just never know. Start with green next. Oops. There we go. And the yellow will be down here, so that way it's not in the same spot. Put this one over here. This one's just going to wind up off a little bit. And let's hope our other piece fits up here okay. Oops. Put the orange side down this time. Or the orangier. I don't know. Is that a word? I don't know if it is. Okay, so I guess if I get the yellow placed first, since that's the one that's the odd man out kind of. Let's see here. Let's do the dark pink and then the woven green on the other side of it. And do we need a pink? Well, that one has a lot of orange in it. That's probably a good thing. And green. And the green brush strokes does have some blue in it. It is really quite pretty. This one's going to just start at the bottom here, about a 1/4 inch up. Just a hair bit more. Okay, let me give it just a hair bit more tape too on the top there. I think I tend to go more for the center when I'm doing the repositionable initially. Okay, let's go pink this time. I think I've got a lot of green and yellow together. Oops. Here we go. And then that one's green next to green, but I'm okay with that. Pink. This one definitely is more pinky and a little bit less orangey. This one's a little bit crooked up here, so I'm gonna scoot that one a little bit more straight. And here's this. Okay, let me grab my scissors again and we'll trim those off. I'll have to grab my envelope again too. Let's go ahead and grab this. And then we know the left side is on the left and the right side will be on the right. Go figure. I do try to make things easier on myself from time to time here. I'll wound up just a little bit crooked, but I guess it's okay. Get a little closer here. There we go. Okay. So that, as we say, is that. And okay, there's our two ends. Let me move out my envelope, put my scissors away, set the parchment board aside because we are not going to need that again. Put your pages on to the right and left with your, I don't know, your accent pieces, your stained glass looking pieces. I don't know. However you want to call it, your pieces that you just took time to place are on each side of your paper. And now I'm going to show you the mats that I've pulled out to go with this, my sheets. I'm just going to kind of separate just a hair. So I pulled out our hummingbirds here, which is one of our 4x6, and that actually is going to overlap the design a little bit. I have yellow. This one has the whoops, where is that? Okay, focus. There you go. The sunshines on it. The backside has the orange crosses a little bit. Oh, no, it's not sunshines. It's dandelions. I'm sorry. So it has the yellow dandelion fluffs on it. This one has the lighter green with the wood sections on it with kind of a woven pattern on the back. And finally, I think these are hummingbirds. Yep, the brighter pink hummingbird mat with a geometric on the back, and that's going to go there. So you can see I'll probably scoot these two over, giving it maybe the 1/4 of an inch as well. So you can see maybe I'll try to get the 1/4 inch here and then have some going around it a little bit, and then I'll space these over a little bit so we're not covering up quite as much as what we just did. But I don't know. Like I said, I like the idea of getting 3 larger photos on this page and then a journal box as well. So you can see, like I said, there was only really space for 2 on the sketch, although it looks like they kind of split this one and you could do 2 smaller photos or create a journal box or what have you. But you know me, I love the mats. Let's get more photos on the page. And like I said, if you want to leave this whole area blank and just work in this space, then go for it. It's really kind of a great way to use up scraps. If you have a lot of scraps for a collection that are different colors, you can create your own pattern and do that as well. So my 4x6 for the left side of the page is this little rain or shine. I thought that was cute and it fit the coloring of the page nicely. I also have an orange woven mat with, that one had the sunshines on the back. And this one is just kind of a leaf and flower design on it. That's a green with some wood sections on the back of that one. And finally, okay, yellow sunshines, yellow dandelions. So this one's a little bit of a darker yellow, and it has hummingbirds on the back as well. So you can see where just by bringing in the color in the mats, it just kind of reinforces, and then our pictures are just going to poof, really pop when we get them onto the page. In fact, I think I have one up here. So here you can see where it just is going to really show nicely on these mats and really pop well on the page once we get our pictures on here. So, okay, let me start sticking down some mats. I have my regular tape runner here and let's go. So these, the larger ones that I'm putting the photos on are all the 4.5 by 6.5 mats. So that's what originally when I said that there's 6 larger mats, the 4.5 by 6.5, that's what these are. And then the 2 4x6 are the 2 just kind of at the lower corners here. That's kind of just what worked for me. I mean, I guess you could have switched it up and done it this way, but I don't know. I really liked the idea of having a little bit more of our design on the side show. So that's what I did. Okay, is my page not straight or is my mat not straight? I think my mat's pretty good. I think it's that these 2 are off. Okay, whew. I probably should have taken those off before I started sticking down the mats. Let me see if I got those. Well, this one is definitely not straight. This one's not quite straight either. I should have definitely taken those two off. Well, that's what the multi-purpose tool's there to help out with. Let's straighten that out just a little bit. That looks better to me. And let's get this one going too real quick. Usually I'm not quite so fussy, but I guess with the way the design is on this one, I really kind of wanted it to flow nicely with what's here. So that definitely looks better. It looks straighter. Okay, get my page where it looks straight too. There you go. Okay, let me scoot this one off for a moment so I can get this centered a little bit better for you all, so that way my logo isn't covering things up either. Let's go ahead and get tape runner on both of these. And of course, my tape runner just ran out. It's fun. I just changed out my repositionable tape runner earlier as well. So here we go. We just line up that large circle at the back end of the tape runner and we are back in business pretty quick. I love whoever designed these. Did a fantastic job of making them easy to change out, especially when I'm live streaming. It makes it really easy. So we're going to offset this one a little bit. Here we go. So let me make sure I'm not actually pushing it down yet. And then this one is going to come over just a little bit here. And it should be offset a little bit too. So that way you do see, I don't know why, I wonder if that matched just a little bit. Creative Memories does have some allowances for just slight variances. So I'm wondering if that's what's happening to me here. Just looks ever so slightly off. Or maybe my birds are just ever so slightly off. I'm going to have to fix that now. Goodness gracious. Okay. Shouldn't have pushed down yet. Okay. Now I'm pulling up my little piece from underneath here. So let me pull that down too. Get that back on here. And then this is going to come up. Oops. Okay. It's okay. Here we go. I don't know why I'm feeling just a little bit. That's straight. That's straight. Off here. Get my bird straight here. Okay, I'm happier with that. And that top one looks pretty good as well. I think I'm okay with that one. So there we go. Our right side of the page is done. I will hold it up for you all, and then I will bring in the other side, and we'll do this all over again. And hopefully I won't have to use the multi-purpose tool quite as much. Okay, let's take these off since that's what messed me up a little bit on this other side. We're going to start with these two. And okay, first things first. I check it before I stick it. Page is straight. The card looks good. Okay. Whew. Then I can push down on it. All right. Don't know if it matters which end is up, but here we go with this one. Bring that in over just a little bit. See, and then that one makes that one look just a little bit off. I wonder if it's because of the ovals and the squares on these things. But overall, that looks pretty straight. I'm going to go ahead and stick that one down. Let's get some tape on our other two here. And That'd be a cute journal box too with the little blackberries on there. All right, so this one's going over this way and offsetting it from the other one just a little bit. This one's going in our corner here. So let's, first things first, make sure this one's okay. How does that look? It looks pretty good. Am I lined up? I'm going to scoot it over just a hair. And not bad. I think actually that's what it is some of these other lines are throwing me off just a little bit. Otherwise, I think I'm looking pretty good there. And we're going to get this last one on. This one's coming over here. Whoops, that's not where I want that. How are we looking? Pretty good. Reasonably straight, I think so. Okay. Putting it down. There we go. All right. So the left side is now done. Here you go for your closer look at that one. Let's get these two back on the camera for you. And hopefully we can get these somewhat straight and together. Okay. So a lot of color going on the page, but like I said, your photos are just gonna completely pop off the page. Let me find some stickers here. And since we already have this rain or shine on here, I don't want to put too much else, but I noticed that we do have this little block here. And I want to check and see if we have an opportunity to put something that, like this beautiful hummingbird, might fit it. And there's another umbrella. Okay. Let's see here. Well, we just need something simple. Okay, so here we go. I pulled out my embellishment pack along with the stickers, and I found these really gorgeous hummingbirds or birds sitting on a little branch here. And I just thought that really works well in this space. And like I said, our photos are still going to pop, but it kind of looks like our birds are looking at our photos. So I am going to grab out our smaller foam squares, and we are going to pop this up on our page. Just using the small foam squares here. Wasn't sure if I was going to have to cut one, and it looks like I don't have to, which is nice. Although maybe for the tail, well, I think we'll be okay without the tail and the beak, or the branch. Yep, that seems to pop pretty well. Let's go ahead and get some on this other one here. Getting the backs off of these things. And here we go. Oops. Uh-oh, I missed one. Thought I had it. I guess I didn't. So here's our first one, and we're kind of gonna, I think I'm gonna layer him a little bit more towards our journal box. There we go. And then that way it's not over our photos at all. And we'll do the same thing on this other side, kind of over our little rain or shine mat here, which is our title. But you know what? Birds come out right after the rain and they sit on their branches and sing their songs, I think. So it kind of adds a nice little touch here to have these little birds on their branches. And again, we'll go a little bit more over our little end here so that way it's not over our photos. Not that it's not popped up, but still. So that's it for our page. I hope you all enjoyed seeing my interpretation of this sketch. I will be back in just a moment with our card. I've grabbed one of our blank cards from our card kit, and we're going to open it going up towards the top. I cut a piece of scrap cardstock I had, and this is just the charcoal, I believe is what the color was called. You can use whatever scraps of cardstock you have around. And I cut it at the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 just to cover up the front of the card here. If I can get it straight, there we go. And now we're going to go ahead and get our 2-inch strips going onto our sides. I'm going to just repeat kind of like what we did with our other page here. I'm going to go from each side and see what happens, what fits, and if I need one of my scraps from the other layout, I will grab one. I do have my little envelope here. If you'll remember that I stuck those scraps onto as we did the layout, just in case we would need one for the card. So apparently I'm starting with the yellow again. I'm going about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom and just kind of going ahead and getting things started here. All right. So I will probably grab one of my little pieces of green. Give me a moment here. Here we go. I'll grab this one from here to put down here. Just because we don't want to cut off that much if we can help it. And let me grab oh, that's good. It's actually a little bit of a darker green from the same paper. So that'll be pretty too. And I should have done maybe this. So let me move this other piece up, grab my multi-purpose tool here. So this one's a little bit trickier. I don't know if it's because it's slightly different scale here. And I didn't move that one over far enough, did I? So I'm going to bring it over just a little bit more, working closer to 1/8 of an inch versus the 1/4 of an inch I did on the actual page. And so I'm going to have these two different greens close to each other, but that's okay. I'm just going to do 2 strips, I think, or 2 rows, I should say, of the strips. Maybe I should do a 3rd. Let's do a 3rd because I think that'll help with our design a bit. So put this one up here. Let me make sure I'm getting this. Do I have a straight end and a not so straight end? I don't know. This one's going to go here. What do we have left? I have a little bit of green here. Let me get just a little bit more tape runner on it. One thing I don't seem to have is yellow up here, which is interesting. So we're just going to go with what we have and make it work. I feel like I need another piece of green, so I'm going to just cut this part off here, grab my scissors again, flip it over, trim off what's coming off the top and bottom, and we'll make it work. Sometimes the random patterns are really random, and sometimes they're a little bit more repeating, huh? Okay, oops, this was here. So move that. Stick those on my envelope again. So I have them just in case I need something on the other side. Those are the same ones. So let's get this one because at least it's slightly different to put up here. And I'm okay with that. Good. Okay, so that one's done. Now let's get these other strips going on this other side. This is a little bit more of a challenge than I thought it was going to be, but I just thought, you know what, why not do it for our card makers as well? I'm showing you how this pattern can work. A lot of times I just do something different for the cards, but I just thought, why not? All right, we'll go ahead and start this one off here. Give it a longer piece along this edge. And then we definitely need some green. So I'll use a scrap up here, probably from this pink here. Let me move it down so you all can see what I'm looking at when I'm looking at my envelope here a little bit. So work my scraps from the right side, and I can't seem to get it up, so multi-purpose tool to the rescue. I'm going to add just a little bit more repositionable tape since I probably pulled off some of it when I stuck it down to the envelope there. There we go. Okay, so let's put the yellow at the top here. Yep, so that way that'll be the longer strip. Coming in here. Yep. And then the pink. And then I will grab something else from my scrap strips so I can have this full piece of green for the next row. And I kind of am going crooked here, so I need to straighten this out just a little bit. I wonder if it's easy. It seems like it. Oops. Pick that up in just a moment. It feels easier coming from the top rather than from the side. There we go. Okay, this one is going to go just over here. So that way we know roughly where this green one needs to be, although it's almost lining up with that other one. So I'm going to put it down just a little bit more. Here we go. Okay. Let's bring in the other green down here, I guess. No, let's bring that one in over here. And I know that gives us, it's going to give us a lot of green together. Let's put that up here. Okay, I'm going to pull a pink, oops, from over here. Add a little extra tape. And that is just going to finish off that section, I guess. We'll have just a little more gray showing down here. Straighten it out again. I don't know why everything seems to be crooked today. Probably because it's a Monday. I'm filming on a Monday. I probably should know better. It seems like when I try to film on Mondays, there's always something that seems a little bit odd to me. I'm going to pull this other darker strip here, I think. Okay. I think that works. Let's cut these off. I don't know how I wound up with an extra strip. Trying to escape over here. And so basically I was just kind of pulling based off of size and color when I went to fill in on the card here. I'm just going to stack these now that we know we have enough for what we're doing here. Okay. And yes, my favorite multi-purpose scissors, even though it looked like the repositionable stuck to it, it didn't. They have a non-stick coating on them. So it's really awesome that your scissors don't get gooped up even though you're cutting through things that have tape on them. Let's move that out of the way. Let's get our multi-purpose tool put up, and then we're going to grab a couple of stickers. And I've already eyeballed exactly what I want to put on this card. So on our sticker sheets, we have this A Little Birdie Told Me, which I thought is just perfect for a card. So we have this A Little Birdie Told Me. I want that at the top. And then we have these two birds in this nest here that I do want to use the foam squares with. But I just thought, you know, isn't that just gorgeous? Should we foam square that one, or should we just actually, you know what, I'm going to put it down flat. This is going to go right here with the birds in the center and our branch going over. There we go. Look at that. So we have our A Little Birdie Told Me. Okay, I will figure out where this camera is. So we have our Little Birdie Told Me, and then we have our birds in our nest, and we have just so much color going on with this card. But I just thought, you know, wouldn't that be a fun card to send one of your friends? And they'll be like, where did you get that card? How did you make that card? I think it's just gorgeous. Brings in all the colors from the Painted Garden. We didn't really waste anything. I mean, we just have these few little pieces left from those original 2 strips, the inch that we cut off of each of those pages. We have 2 gorgeous pages and a really fun card from that. So I hope you enjoyed this edition of my Sketch With Me series. Until next time.